So I hope you're doing well today. It's now very nearly 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. in the evening on the 8th of the 4th, 2020. Yeah, okay. I've just watched something that it was a film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And yeah, the ending of that film is tough. You know, it had me in tears at the end because those sick, twisted friends of Charlie Manson who killed Sharon Tate and her friends in such a horrific manner. In the movie, they give it another ending, where three of them go into the house of an old stuntman who has a pit bull, or something similar to a pit bull, a big, powerful dog. And this stuntman smokes a cigarette laced with acid, so he's a bit out of his mind. Of course, these people sort of break into his home, and he's standing there with his dog on the couch. He's standing there with dog food in his hand, and not quite understanding what the heck is going on here. But as the man, Tex, is about to shoot him, he whistles to his dog. His dog runs across and grabs the man's arm and bites it. Then the man's trying to hit the dog. Then the dog bites his leg and then bites in between his leg and bites incredibly hard. And then a woman is running over to stab the stuntman. So the stuntman again whistles to the dog. The dog then goes for the woman. And in the end, all three of these Mason killers die. And die in many ways, in horrific ways. But you're thinking while you're watching it, Lord, why couldn't you have allowed it to end in that way? And then a few minutes later in the film, the actor whose home it is that happened in, the stuntman is his stunt actor, goes outside, and his neighbour at the Pansky residence has come out to see what the commotion was about, and then Sharon Tate rings through to see what the issue was. And then, of course, you've got Sharon Tate then speaking to her neighbour. But you know, at that moment, in reality, in real life, she was dead. She was 8.5 months pregnant. And her and her child she was stabbed to death. Not found until 12 hours later, so obviously her child was dead. Well, I think her child was dead, I'm not totally sure. I mean, nowadays, they could possibly save the child, I don't know. But then, probably not. But it does get you thinking, Lord, why that ending? Why could it not have been where those people wandered into the house of a psychopath who would handle all three of them? And where the ending would be suitable for how the ending should really be. Because, of course, if you've got these people who are psychopaths and are going into someone's house to kill anyone there, they deserve to 10 minutes later find themselves in hell. That's what they deserve. It's understandable asking God, why didn't you allow things to happen in a different way? You can't blame God for it because God didn't do it. God allowed it to happen. Yes, he could have stepped in at any point in time, but the problem with that is, even that way of thinking, is that God doesn't want a load of robots or a load of puppets he can just maneuver left, right, and centre. He allows people to make decisions, good and bad. He allows you to make decisions, good and bad. He allows you to become the killer. He allows you to become the killed. Now, the crazy thing about that situation with Sharon Tate and those people, they just happened to be in the wrong house. They bought the wrong house. So Charles Manson was angry with the people who owned the house before and ordered his people to just kill anyone in that house, which is crazy. It's a terrible tragedy, awful situation of people being manipulated by a man who was charismatic. And it was a time when people went to free love and all that stuff, and drugs, certainly weed and stuff like that, and LSD, and even acid. And someone like Charles Manson seemed to be a very charismatic person at that time. But to say he was a wrong one is an understatement of fact. I mean, he didn't kill the people himself. No. And it may have been a flippant remark when he gave it. But that's the dangers of drugs as well, isn't it, man? If you're on drugs, you can easily be manipulated. It's a completely mucked up situation. I was going to use a different first letter for mucked. But we shouldn't swear. So, but yeah, terrible situation at the cinemas. 1969, that was. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. It's a bit strange, actually, with regards to that. I watched the film because I was watching a podcast called Bill Burt Podcast. And that's where the last video I was talking about people that smoke and this virus, because they mentioned it. Because Bill Burr was talking about the fact that he liked cigars, and there was a certain cigar that he really liked to mist. And the other chap, Burt, said, but that's the thing. With this virus, if you're a smoker, it can be far worse for you. And when you think about it, it makes an awful lot of sense. It really does. I mean, there's a neighbour here who's, cough a lot. He does cough an awful lot. And for goodness sake, you don't want him to get that virus, because if he did, it would probably kill him. Because if he's coughing so badly already before he's even got the virus, and he has been for the past 2 or 3 years coughing. When I stopped smoking, I was trying to speak to him about it a bit to see maybe he could stop, but no, he wasn't interested. But certainly, there are many people in that situation who smoke and cough. I mean, I used to in winter. I used to cough an awful lot, because part of the problem I've got, because I've got hardly any nasal airway, I have stuff on my nose going into my throat all the time, and obviously it can go down into my chest. So along with the smoking, that caused an irritation, so I was coughing a lot in winter. This winter, I've not coughed at all since I started smoking, so that's good. But his cough could end if he starts smoking. As I say, I don't believe people have to get things like cancer even if they smoke. There's an awful lot of people that smoked and never had cancer, died natural causes, but there's a lot of people that never smoked who get cancer. So yeah, I don't see it in that way either. But yeah, so I suppose this video was really compounded by the fact, and the reason why I'm doing it is because of that film. Into that, because that was tough. That was really looking at that, and if you know the truth of what actually happened, then yeah, I mean, what I was going to say about the film itself is that it was quite strange that the actress who played Sharon Tate didn't actually have that much of a role of speaking, and people were complaining that she didn't. And people that complaining about that forgot that she was a character who in real life was killed. Yeah, they just didn't remember because history, just doesn't teach that sort of stuff. It should do. Or it should do, because history has got to teach people about charismatic leaders, and especially where drugs are concerned, because we live in a society where drugs is quite popular and where people are fairly hopeless. So if a charismatic leader come about, then a lot of people would fall for it. Right now, of course they would. And we've got to be aware, so we've got to be teaching people about charismatic leaders, not just people like Hitler. Yeah, I mean, how do you get people to kill for you? Well, look at Manson. As I say, his comment might not have been a case of, I'm telling you now, you have to go into that house and kill those people. That's an order. It could just be a case of, oh, for goodness sake, will someone just go into that house and kill anyone who lives there? Because that person really did me wrong in the past. Yeah, but then, of course, these people who are drugged up to the flipping eyeballs and part of this community and look at you as a spiritual leader, they're going to do whatever you ask, whatever they think you need to impress you and to honor you. It's like, no, Jesus, no, don't ever. God, no. Don't fall into that crap. It's so easy to fall into. There've been other places where there've been spiritual leaders where there was that chap, God knows, I can't remember what it was, but where the FBI went in and basically, were bang out of order. Pretty much wiped out a load of people, including women and children. Yeah. Again, cults. You've got to be aware that cults can come up so quickly, and they can be so incredibly dangerous. That's why I say also we've got to value life, and we're in this time at the moment where, the situation with Sharon Tate, her husband Roman Polanski, never got a chance to say goodbye. He's always described the time he had with her as the happiest time in his life. When he got back to his home, he got rid of everything. He didn't keep anything from that house because it just reminded him of what he'd lost. He truly loved that woman, and he never got a chance to say goodbye. He may have also believed that maybe he should have done more to let her know that he loved her. So, you need to do all what you can to let people who you love know that you love them and value the lives of the people that you have in your life, because they're here now and they could be gone at any minute. So that's to do for that one. It's an interesting film. Tarantino again doing it. Interesting. It centres around a Western actor who's coming towards the end of his career, and he's stuntman. So yeah, but it's a good film, and as I say, the ending is one that, if it could only have been, and every situation could only be that way, where the psychopaths and the murderous people would be the ones that were killed instead of them killing others. I mentioned the situation the other day about barriers, where you had the school shooters, and it's very much the case there that you've got incredibly disturbed people that carry out these shootings. And to a certain degree, yes, it would be better if it was just that one individual who died rather than all the other people that they killed. But you'd also like to say that it would be wonderful if that society could learn lessons from that. They don't seem to ever be willing to learn lessons from it. I mean, too many of them make it about guns. It's nothing to do with guns. The reason why people do what they do has got nothing really to do with guns. Yes, okay. If they didn't have guns, they would have to try and use knives. But if they had knives, they would still kill a number of people. It would have to be close up. It couldn't be from a distance. But they would still have killed a few people. Because you've got to look at why people do what they do. Again, with the Mansons, you've got to understand why those people did what they did. Why did they take the word of Charles Manson and then go and kill those innocent people who just happen to live in the wrong drinking house? Yeah. But you wouldn't necessarily blame them completely, but you would understand it if they said, right, get everyone out of the house. Just get them out. And instead, we're setting light to the house, so we get rid of the house. Therefore, Manson should be pleased because we destroyed the house. We leave the people, let them live. But Manson has a problem with the house, so let's just destroy the house. You would understand that. Certainly, looking back over the years, you'd say, well, that was a good move. I understand that. They wanted to please their man, but they didn't want to kill the people, so fantastic. It was a good solution. But sadly, it wasn't. It wasn't a good solution at all. I'm not going to pretend for a second that the world lost a fantastic actress, because she wasn't necessarily ever going to be that. But she was someone's daughter, she was someone's wife, and she was someone's mother, because she already had a child. And so, I think she already had a child. I looked up a bit earlier, and there was something about there is a child there from her, I think. I didn't want to read too much into it, because again, you have this situation of this person's gone. This person was taken from life in such a horrific manner. Taken from her husband and her friends and her parents. She had two sisters that, remarkably, one of her sisters actually invited her to come and stay with her that night. If she had just said yes, and all her friends staying with her had gone home, then nobody would have been killed, at least that night. It may have happened another night, who knows? But in the end, these are the things that happen. this is life. Unfortunately, it's a case where evil does exist, and evil does happen. That's a certainty. I mean, they suffered for nothing. They didn't do anything to anyone. They were just living in the wrong house. I mean, Michael wasn't. There's so many people that can be a problem to other people, and they tend to get away with it. And yet these people did nothing at all to the people that killed him. Did nothing whatsoever. I mean, it'd be understandable if Sharon Tate and her husband and her friends had been a major pain in the butt to the hippies in that community. And this is how the hippies then responded. That would be fine. It'd be understandable, not fine, but understandable. You could then at least see some real motive behind it. But no, not as it was. And I don't even know if the people responsible are still alive or not, actually. Whether those people have repented or not. Certainly, I don't think Charles Manson ever repented. I don't think he was that type to do that. So, yeah. But yeah, in many situations, we can wish that the ending had been different. But unfortunately, they're not. So, there you go. You take care. God bless. It's a good film. Give it a watch. As I say, certainly celebrate the ending of the film. At least in that film, Sharon Tate got a longer life, got to live. So yeah. But you take care. God bless. I will speak to you soon. Hello, everyone. Bye bye.